Oh, Sammy, thank you so much. Add that to what I earned so far, and I think I have $1. Yay! I have earned my first dollar on YouTube AdSense. Hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm so excited. Yes. Lazy Larry number 2. Thanks, Sammy, for that. What is that called now? Is that a super chat? Is that what is that there? I don't even know what to call it. Hey, Larry Lee, how you be? Sammy. Okay, Larry, you'll be in the background. Well, it's comforting knowing that you're going to be there, listening. Late dinner, Sammy? Or is it the regular time to eat? Larice, the Philippines' #1 bachelorette. Thank you so much, Sammy. That means a lot. Robert, I hope you're doing well, bro. Greetings. There's so much love in the room. Yes, positivity and love is what it's all about. Larice. Oh, you're back. Okay, so I'm back. Hey, interesting topic today. I don't know where I got this idea from, but guess I was bored, and then I decided that oh man, it's been a couple of days since I put up a video. I better come up with something. Hey, speaking of money, hey, check this out. I want to share this with you. Oh man, I think there's an ant on my cell phone. Anyway, here you go. Check it out. Oh wait, you probably can't see it. Gcash. I got a Gcash account. That's dangerous. Dangerous Dan and a Gcash account. Yeah. I am ready to go now. I could spread the love all over the Philippines without using PayPal now. All I got to do is load up my Gcash account and whoof, spread the love all over the YouTube channels, all over the Philippines. Seamless transfer of money. Yeah, except that I have to do it through Palawan Pawn Shop. I have to load up my Gcash. That could be a little bit of a pain, but anyway, just up the street. Bye-bye City Leyte, where the time is officially 8:04 p.m. and the temperature outside is somewhere between 80 and 82 degrees with an overnight low of 79. Whoop, whoop. Oh, your other channel, Sammy, thank you. Sign up, folks. I haven't put Province LGBT in my Nightbot, but I will. I will put that link in there. Hi, Larry, my brother. Larry, my brother from a different mother. Yay! Thank you, Larice. Thank you. Hey, Larice, let me ask you a question. What were you doing shopping in the mall? Was that today or the other day? What were you shopping for? I'm just curious. I know what you were shopping for, Larice. Yes, I know what you were shopping for. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, today's topic is kind of interesting, because I'm going to connect the dots between black coffee and long distance relationships. Only Only Dan can do it. Yeah, I think it was because I was watching somebody's channel today and I was intrigued by it. And they were probably talking about something like, you know, the 10 things that could go wrong in a long distance relationship with a Filipina, stuff like that. You know, basically stuff that gets basically titles like that are kind of like clickbait. You know, you want to tune in. It worked for me. What what should I what should I be worried about when dating online, that sort of thing. And then I realized that there's a connection, right, between um, black coffee and long distance relationships with a Filipina. I don't know. I don't know if any of you have ever thought of this before, but I thought it was fun and exciting at the same time. Pacquiao Merns, how are you? One of my favorite supporters is in the house. Hey, so listen, I jumped up and down because I want to let you see that I was wearing the shirt, the I love my Filipino wife shirt. Let me see. Dan, by the way, coming to you live from the bedroom studio in Bye Bye City Leyte, where it's, there's stuff everywhere because we're still unpacking. But anyway, yeah, there it is. There it is. I love my sexy Filipino wife. There, take that. Take that. See that? She likes to dance. Doo, doo, doo. There you go. I think that my wife is in the other room. They're still sorting out balikbayan boxes. Yeah. Oh yeah, Copico. We talked about that, but I've since gone black. I mean, 100% black. Once you go black, you'll never go back. Sammy. So I cut out the sugar. I cut out the cream. It's just me in a love relationship with a black cup of coffee. Yeah, it's pretty funny stuff. Oh yeah, we're finally home and we're enjoying it too, especially hanging out at the Dunkin' Donuts every morning. I told you I was going to do it. Told you that one of the things I would look forward to would be getting up early every morning and getting on that. What do they call that? What do they call those trikes? A trike, I guess. Getting on a trike or a Jeep and then heading down to the Dunkin' Donuts, which is only 7 minutes from where we live, to downtown Bye Bye City Leyte by Prince Mall. And there I go in there and to the DD, the Dunkin' Donuts, and enjoy my brewed cup of coffee and have a nice uh, bonding moments with the guys, that are other Westerners that live here in Bye Bye City Leyte. There's a whole bunch of us. So they all hang out, or a lot of them hang out early morning down at the Dunkin' Donut. Uh-oh, I hear the puppy. I hear the dog starting to bark. It would not bark. It would not be the Philippines without barking dogs. What did I just say? Barking dogs. Say that real fast 3 times. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to avoid what all's going on in the living room, where they got just piles of stuff everywhere. You got your underwear, you got your T-shirts, you got your Irish Spring soap, and your Pepsodent, and your toothbrushes, and your 99-cent store stuff, and your chocolate. All that stuff that has to be doled out to the relatives, and of course, in organized fashion, so that there is not a feeding frenzy like in the movie Jaws. It would be a feeding frenzy. Oh, Daisy Lynn, you're here. Hey, I hope you're feeling better, Daisy Lynn. I know you were fighting the flu or fever or something earlier today. Hey, it's Manuel Soriano, brother from a different mother. Manuel, how's it going? I miss you, man, since Manila. We had a good time. I really, really enjoyed seeing you there. We're going to have to get together again soon. All right, so let's dive into it. Loris, thanks so much for sharing and posting the link and sharing and shouting out. And also thanks to all my other supporters for making it all happen. I truly appreciate it. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this so we can see how silly is it really, that Dan could come up with the connection between black coffee being good for you and also a long distance relationship with a Filipina being good for you. Tim, how's it going? Tim's in the house. Say hello to Tim. Yeah, I enjoyed conversations with Tim when we were over there at Tequila Reef in Pampanga. That's the big hangout over there in Pampanga. That's where all the YouTubers hang out. You know it. You see that great big smile on my face. Enjoying this retirement is an understatement. I mean, it's just like nothing that I've ever done before, and that's because I've never done it before. Let's see if Nightbot is doing their job. Looks like it. When are you going to meet Sammy and I? Oh, we'll probably have to get settled. Yeah, it'll probably take a month or so to get settled in before we start planning on venturing out. There's so much stuff to do here at the house. I ran into a couple of plumbing issues and air conditioning issues and stuff like that we have to deal with. So all that has to be taken care of before we can head out. All right, so let's talk about it. So if you go to aarp.org, then you're going to find the top 5 reasons why black coffee ain't so bad for you. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, drum roll, is it lowers your risk of type 2 diabetes. Studies have shown that coffee lowers your risk, and nobody knows why. Yeah, so it must have been one of those top 10 surveys that they did, where they go around, they survey a bunch of elderly folks, retired folks and stuff, and say, hey, what is your situation, with your diabetes, and how many cups of coffee do you take in a day? So I think the study here at AARP, or these studies that they're talking about that have to do with black coffee, I think that they were based around moderate use or moderate intake of black coffee. And so you have to go to aarp.org in order to read the news. You just go into Google and type in AARP, if you want to follow along, .org, and then you put benefits of drinking black coffee. Yeah, because, so many people come up to me and they say, oh, you're a coffee addict, stuff like that. I drink in moderation, but I suppose if you see a person every time they're walking around with a Starbucks cup in their hand, you might start to think that they're a coffee addict, right? But truth be told, I only drink between 3 and 5 cups of coffee per day. And that is not bad. In fact, I'm right in the zone as far as the studies go, where I'm getting the most out of the benefits of the coffee. Okay, so let's see. So number 1 is it lowers your risk of type 2 diabetes. So now does having the question would be then, the obvious one would be, does having a long distance relationship with a Filipina lower your risk of type 2 diabetes? Yeah, that would be the question, right? And I wasn't able to find the answer to that. I actually went in there and I did a Google search to see if I can do a one-on-one comparison between drinking black coffee and having a long distance relationship with a Filipina. Let me give you just a little bit more information that comes from the website. Basically it's saying that evidence evidence is pouring in. Get it? That drinking a cup of Joe or three can help with everything from managing blood sugar to getting more out of a workout. Caffeine lovers looking for a healthy way to get their daily fix have long been led to believe that tea offers a greater benefit, but it turns out that nutritionists and others in the medical community are discovering that it's actually coffee, which is abundant in bioactive compounds that promote health. And that is from a registered dietitian comes from the Cleveland Clinic. So we've known for a long time that there are healthy antioxidants in coffee, the same as there are in cacao, right, and chocolate. And so, but a lot of people have been led to believe that coffee ain't so good for you. But see, I just want to give you anecdotal evidence, in my case. So I've been borderline diabetic for most of my life. But whenever I do my blood sugar test, right, it always is on the line. It never goes over into I'm always in the danger zone, right? But it never goes into the official diagnosis category of suffering from diabetes. So Adele, thank you so much for joining the live stream. We truly appreciate you being here. So, well, it's saying between 3 to 5 cups per day, but I think they're talking about, they're talking about like 3 or 4 ounces a cup, something like that. Not latte, of course. You can't have any milk or sugar inside there, Tim. Hit that like button. Thank you. Appreciate that, Robert. Appreciate that reminder. Yeah, well, it's easy to get addicted to Capico because, as you know, Sammy, I love Capico. I was drinking Capico every day. And then someone says, damn, that's diabetes in a cup. And I started looking at the package to see what was in there. And then I said, well, I better go to fresh brewed, and I better go to black coffee only. So, well, are you suffering from health ailments, Tim? So would the reverse be true? If you don't drink coffee, you get sick as hell. So let's say, I wonder if they did any studies on that, right? So number 2 on the AARP website, right? Number 2, protects your heart by reducing your risk for heart failure. And I believe that was because of all those goodies that we were talking about in there. Let me go and look. This is kind of fun, don't you think? Let me see. Where is it? Let me see. Again, the article's called "The 5 Surprising Benefits." Protects your ticker in quite a few ways. That's number 2, right? And so basically what it says, as counterintuitive as it may seem, your go-to for kickstarting the day or powering you through a sluggish afternoon has a heart-healthy benefit. A review of 3 major studies showed that, suggest that the benefits of coffee to extend your overall cardiovascular system among people without diagnosed heart disease. Oh, so there's a little bit of a twist in there. And they didn't say the ones that had heart disease. They looked at the ones that didn't, and then probably surveyed and said, how many cups of coffee do you drink per day? But they did imaging for more than 30,000 people that were study participants. And the MRI showed that the daily coffee drinkers had healthier sized and better functioning hearts than those who didn't drink coffee. If possible, though, drink filtered coffee. Unfiltered coffee contains 2 compounds that raise LDL cholesterol in some people. So you kind of have to watch out. What they're really talking about is drinking coffee in moderation. Exactly. Exactly. Let's go to number 3, boost brain health. Let's see. Robert says, I'm happy that you enjoyed the video I uploaded. It was all true. Yeah, it was very special. It was very nice. If you guys haven't seen the video, I encourage you to go into Robert's site there, and Robert speaks from the heart. Well, Robert always does, though. Let's see. Lazy Larry says, Dan, just tell him that you are a caffeine life form and you must uphold your species lifestyle. Exactly. And Tim says, LDR is not good for anyone. In person is much better. Well, yeah, but it's subjective, right? It's subjective. Let's see. Why is an LDR with a Filipina beneficial for your health? Oh my gosh, this is so much fun, right? Number 1. Oh, you don't take the little things in life for granted. Yeah, so I would gather that what that means basically is that, if you're if you're if you have an online relationship with someone, or even a long distance relationship, I guess I don't want to mix the two up, because a long distance relationship does not specifically mean an online relationship, but it can be an online relationship, right? So we don't want to confuse. They're two separate things, right? LDR could be with someone that you've met before, and now they work, let's say, in the Philippines, and you work in the US, and then you get together now and again. So it does not necessarily mean that you haven't met. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're having the relationship exclusively online through, let's say, an internet dating site or something like that. Oh, thanks so much, Pinky. We miss you. We had a great time in Manila visiting, and hope that we get to repeat. But we'll be coming to your neck of the woods next time. We'll be going. We'll be finding you. Appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing to your community. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, bananas good for you, Dan. That's right. Bananas probably do come into play in this deal here, Robert. That's very astute of you. And Tim says that my blood sugar is entirely normal. Well, good for you. Okay, his blood sugar's fine. Let's see. Okay, so you don't. So number 1 for LDR is you don't take the little things in life for granted, because you have limited time with each other, and so you're most likely not going to spend that time creating conflict with each other. I mean, that's my guess. That's the world according to Dan. You might have other reasons as to why that might happen that way. Pinky says hi, Robert, and hello to Tim from the incomparable, incredible, insanely popular, with over 9,000 subscribers to date. I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's Pinky Gray is in the house. Hi, Pink. And Tim says hi. Please don't forget to go to Pinky's channel and sign up. Get her to 10K. She's on the hunt for 10K. 10K. What do you say? What's it going to be today? Man, also hook up. I don't mean hook up, but I mean connect with Pinky Gray in Facebook. She is so hilarious. If I need to put a smile on my face, I just go to the Facebook page. I look for Pinky Gray, and her stuff on relationships is funny. Sometimes it's serious though, but most of the time it cracks me up. Hi, Pink. So, where were we? Oh, boost brain health. Let's see. Number 3, boost brain health. It reduces the risk of you getting dementia, and they really don't know why this occurs. Caffeine consumption may indeed offer protection. In one study, people ages 65 to 84, published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, noted that those who drank a cup or two of coffee daily had a lower rate of mild cognitive impairment than those who never or rarely consumed coffee. Other studies suggest coffee may also protect against Parkinson's disease. All right, so that's interesting because they also found that drinking beer, if you're over the age of 40, has some health benefits. And so, of course, as most of I barely or rarely touch the stuff as a young adult. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because, it seemed for a while that everybody around me were alcoholics or something. I didn't want to be like them. So I made the conscious decision not to drink, but it didn't mean that I swore off alcoholic beverages for my entire life. There's a time and place for everything, and so now I'm developing a beer belly. Enjoy life, right? Oh, the sponsor of the coffee study. Well, all that would be, let's see, in this one, well, they're different. See, here's the trick, Tim. Here's the trick. And they do this all the time. Stats are stats, right? And so what they're doing is their AARP is putting together studies that were conducted by different organizations, and then they came up with a top 5 list. Because it makes for good reading. So now on the number 3 point about Parkinson's, it says new data suggests, and it was published in the journal Nutritional. So that's where you find that one. Okay, so let's see. Where was I? I'm losing track because we were making the comparison between these things and long distance relationships with the Filipina, right? Oh, okay. So long distance relationships. Number 2 was you get to maintain more of your independence. Oh, hell yeah. Because because your Filipina is not there. And the person for Filipinas, the person that you're having the long distance relationship is not there. They're not present. You might fly coast to coast or around the world to meet them every now and again, but basically, you have minimal contact with them. Number 3 for long distance relationship is you both become pros at communicating. I personally have experienced that. When you're communicating, from a distance, at a distance, you get very, very good at, getting your point across. I realize that misunderstandings occur. Misunderstandings are going to occur from time to time, but you get proficient at communicating and not pissing the other person off and getting the point across because you have little time to spend with them most of the time because everybody is so busy. And I have heard of this happening, though. I have heard of people in the West when they've talked about their long distance love, constantly sending them emails and texts to their phone while they're working, let's say, and that has caused some disagreements in those relationships that need to be worked out. For example, when I was working, I noticed that, and Minnie accepted this, by the way, my wife accepted this, that unless it was an emergency or something, I didn't really like to be disturbed at work with questions that were concerning, those drapes in the living room, the colors bothering me. What should we change it to? I'm going to be running down to the department store, the mall today to choose a new color of drapes. See, that kind of stuff was kind of like off limits. So, and so what I've heard that either one side or the other will have a miscommunication because, if there's a time difference involved or something like that, they don't realize that they're disturbing them at work, and they could be in a very, very important meeting, and then all of a sudden, they get a text right in the middle of a meeting. It says, "Hi, darling, how are you today?" Or they want to have romantic talk, right during the middle of a meeting. Now, listen, I wouldn't necessarily reject that idea myself because I've been in hella boring meetings where I needed some kind of distraction, and to do something like, you know, sext or something like that during the middle of a meeting would be a welcome distraction. Is that too much information? Oh, I'm not admitting that I've ever done anything like that. By the way, Robert says I only drink 2 cups a day, brother. Doctor's orders. Well, you need to show your doctor these studies by AARP. No, Robert. Always follow your doctor's advice. Of course, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV in any kind of soap opera doctor show. Okay, so let's see. What's the other one that caught my attention here? So now we're going back to coffee. Daisy Lynn Castro, thank you so much for coming, because I know you weren't feeling so well today. So I hope you're feeling a lot better. And just being here, I know that you're probably feeling a lot better. Oh, so there's something going around the Philippines right now. I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of virus or flu. I don't think it's COVID, but keep your electrolytes up. If you can, it doesn't hurt to sip on Gatorade or something like that, so you don't become dehydrated. That's always a good idea. There are a lot of electrolytes inside of Gatorade, and also at the pharmacy, you could pick up an electrolyte pack. I don't know how much they are. Hopefully, they're not too expensive, and you can put that in water, in regular drinking water, and that will give you the electrolytes that you need in order to recover from flu or something like that. Especially if you're doing a lot of stuff like not drinking a lot of water, taking in fluids, and you're expelling a lot of fluids while you're sick. So I highly recommend electrolytes. It is sounding like I'm a little bit of, I read a lot about stuff like that. That's where I get my information mostly. So let's see. How about coffee? Yeah, LDRs can cause stress, and probably coffee can also. Very good point, Tim. I didn't know if you meant to go there or not, but it's good. It sounds good to me. So it says also, you don't need an expert to tell you how much better that first jolt of morning java can make you feel, but what you may not know is that the effects could be more than fleeting. Drinking coffee may reduce your risk of depression by nearly 1/3, according to research from Harvard Medical School. The effect may be related to coffee's anti-inflammatory properties, which wreak havoc on everything, on your entire body, and including the brain. So the whole thing about that is, I should not have been doing this perhaps, but while I was working at my regular job, I encountered a lot of people that were suffering from depression. And then I never said, hey, maybe you should try, if you're not, drinking coffee, maybe you should start. But what I did was I used to keep these articles on my desk. And the articles were just basic informational stuff about how coffee is known to ward off depression. So here they're pointing to it in point number 4 in this AARP article, and this comes from the Harvard School of Medicine, that the effect may be related to coffee's anti-inflammatory properties. Researchers suspect that both coffee and some antidepressant medications lower the body level of inflammation, which may have an effect on depression. Well, they said it right. So they said it right. They said medication combined with caffeine, of course, but you have to be careful with caffeine because some people are intolerant. They don't tolerate caffeine very well. And so you got to always get your doctor's take on everything, and follow their direction. Yeah. And what? Are you depressed, Robert, or are you happy? Thanks. The timing was perfect. Yeah. Um, let's see. Okay, so we talked about uh, you both become pros at communicating, and we also talked about a few other things. What's the next point that I was trying to make? Oh, in LDR, you make the most of whatever time you have together. So, and you were uniquely prepared for the pandemic, and that's because you probably had a routine already going. You know, where you would contact each other at a certain time, certain day. You know, after work, West Coast time or East Coast time. You already had your time slots already set up, and so you were already in a pattern of communicating with each other. And so when the COVID hit, um, you didn't have to figure out how you were going to do it, how you were going to keep in touch. Especially since you were probably locked down if you were in the United States or the Philippines, and so even if you wanted to travel here to Bye Bye City Late to meet your loved one, there's you couldn't do it because they had so many restrictions on travel. So I wanted to come here sooner, but I realized that, and we could have, my wife and I could have, because we're married, and she has rights as a natural born citizen of the Philippines. So naturalized, I guess is what I'm saying. So basically, that's what our deal was. Let's see, where am I now? Nightbot doing their job, dropping everybody's link. Tremors. I wonder what I suppose if you're suffering from tremors, then you wouldn't want to add coffee to the mix. That's my thought on that. Yeah. Dan, for drinking beer, the time is now, and the place is wherever you were at. That's right. That's right. And so I should have probably thrown in one or two factoids about that, but basically, um, there's articles floating around about the benefits of drinking beer, but not everybody. It's at a certain age, where you get the benefits. And so, there's been a lot of talk about drinking a glass of wine a day, or to your health on a glass of beer, but it's starting to come out, because now that long-term studies are reporting in that only during certain age, ranges are they seeing the benefit you know, of alcohol intake. Of course, for me, it doesn't matter, because I'm 65. I haven't drunk a whole bunch in my entire life, right? Nor have I been drunk a whole bunch of times my entire life. I could always start now. And then I'm not so concerned about the health benefits, but hey, if I get some out of it, good for me, right? Let's see what Pinky Gray has to say about LDR. LDR is the best because it's a test for both of you. Distance is just a word, and it makes the word "I miss you" more useful. Oh my goodness, that's such an excellent point. That is such an excellent point. It does. And people get to know your personality, even if you're engaging in an online relationship. People really do. I mean, even if you're seeing each other maybe once every 6 months or once a year, because you have work obligations and things like that, you still are able to determine what type of a person you are having this relationship with through communicating online. And besides that, online dating is socializing. So a lot of people, they would say, oh, I want to keep my kid away from social media and blah, 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 blah. I would rather have them socialize with their friends in person. But you see, here's my take on it. I full well understand that. I want them to play in the sandbox together. But who does that? Who does that in the West? I see it here in the Philippines, and that's the reason why I enjoy it here so much, is because it's like stepping back in time. But this does not go on in the West. Socializing is done almost exclusively through social media. And so I'm always intrigued by people in the West who say this, who say, oh no, no, no. If my kid is homeschooled or whatever, they're not gonna get the experience of socializing and learning how to socialize with others in person. Really? Are you kidding me? If I want to communicate with any of my kids, I got to do it through social media or email or something. I mean, that's how it's been for the last 20 years. What about you guys? I mean, how have you been communicating? All right, where are we? The whole thing is let's say that I think what caught my attention also today is I was watching a video that talked about the older younger thing, and so you have a Filipino guy who has a very successful YouTube channel, and I enjoy going to the channel because of the good works that the person does. But I don't like the way that the person bashes Westerners, and then berates Filipinas for marrying Westerners, posing questions such as, if an older fat Westerner came along and you needed to change your life for the better to be lifted out of poverty, would you marry him? And 9 times out of 10, the Filipino is going to say yes. But I just don't like the characterization, And then he tries to talk him out of it by saying, hey, why would you do that? Have some self-respect. Oh, really? You mean you want me to go back and eat rice mixed with instant coffee? Are you crazy? I mean, that's what I don't get. There's a certain amount of benefit that both parties get out of the relationship. Older Westerner who has some experience in life, who's probably been divorced once or twice, has several children, most likely they're adult children, who want to try it all over again and get it right. So they go in search of, a wife, a younger wife, which they can start another family, or they can inherit a family. I don't see anything that's wrong with that. But of course, in the West, you have a pretty good chance if you marry somebody from the West and you're from the Philippines that you're going to have a little bit of a better life. It's security that women are looking for, and it's security, and that security, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Couples are looking for, they want to feel secure in their own environment. One way you can do that is finding a partner that you have common interests with and then getting together with them. And that's the way the world has worked for eons, And so am I wrong about that? And so it's troubling a little bit, that characterization, that Filipinos are just looking for fat old men to marry so they could be lifted out of poverty. Oh man. Oh, I went through it when Minnie and I were seeing each other when we were first started to date. We were as we started to communicate. I think it was a Yahoo chat room. That's usually how it starts, right? Well, I mean, you used to pin by writing letters, and then social media and technology takes over, and now the next thing you could do is you could chat through these chat rooms that Yahoo and Hotmail and all these other companies had going. AOL, they all have them. They all have chat rooms. I mean, you mean you can't go on Facebook now or some other site and meet the love of your life? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Larry, for doing that. Yeah, I mean that's what is so interesting to me. Oh, stroke risk, yeah. And so for me, it was stroke prevention. That's why the doctor said start drinking coffee. So, hey, Crystal's Adventure, how are you? We're gonna have to do a collab one day, Crystal. I'm gonna get with you. I'm gonna get with you. Let's see, Robert. Unless he is told what size of cup, just drink two 24-ounce cups. I think in these studies they were talking about, you know, regular European type sizes. They weren't talking about American Starbucks sizes. They were talking about European, little teeny tiny pretend cups. No, I didn't mean that. That's funny, right? Oh, where do I get this stuff? Oh, so number 5. Let's wrap this up, right? Number 5. It's more fun to talk about the long distance relationships. People are so confused about my weird, at times, a very dry sense of humor, right? I'm sure I've confused everybody. So now, number 5 on the AARP website. You do see the irony in what I'm doing, don't you? You do see the fun in it. Like gives your workout a measurable assist. So basically, they're just saying it boosts your metabolism a little bit, or it gives you the motivation to get out there and do a workout so you could drop a few lbs, which has a cascading effect, a beneficial effect on your entire health, your entire person, your entire system, right? That makes sense, right? And so I suppose you could connect the dots any way that you want to, and you could see that there probably is a causal relationship of benefits that you get out of drinking coffee as well as alcohol and having a long distance relationship with a Filipina. For example, yes, in some cases it could cause stress, but in some cases, having a long distance relationship with a Filipina could reduce stress, right? Let's say that you've been lonely. How about that? We have an epidemic of loneliness in the West. Guys don't. I don't know if I don't know what's going on, right? Maybe it's because guys are unhappy with, you know, um, women in the West. I'm not sure. I never gave it much thought. That truly wasn't something. Maybe it was in the back of my subconscious mind. I don't know, but it never was part of my conscious mind. I never said, "Oh, I'm not having much luck here finding a woman in the West to marry me. Maybe I'll go look in the East." And then I end up in the Philippines. No. How it happened for me was a friend comes to me and says, "Hey, Dan, how's dating going here in the States?" It's going okay. I'm getting my fair share of dates. And then he says, "Well, why don't you'd get even more fair share of dates if you came with me to Southeast Asia, and then I'll show you what relationships are like over there. I'll show you what goes on over there." And then I hadn't traveled much at all by then. I'd been a few places, but he kept on me saying, "Okay, let's go, Dan, let's go." And so we ended up on a plane and headed towards I think it was Thailand first, and then the Philippines. And then I was absolutely amazed, but it was a way different ball game back then. In other words, you land at the airport, and the airport ticket agent, for crying out loud, or the customs agent was talking to you saying, "Hey, would you like to go out after I get off work?" And I was like, "Huh?" I'm the one that usually has to do the work and make the approach. But when in the Philippines and in some places in Thailand, they were the ones that were making the approach because they're looking for a different setup. And I'm not sure if it had to do with, that they wanted to be lifted out of poverty. I think relationships are just as tough in the East as they are in the West, but for a whole nother set of socioeconomic reasons. Have you guys ever thought about that? Now, it's not so simple as to say, "Oh, if I marry a guy from the West, I'm going to marry an ATM machine," right? It's not that simple. It's not that. I mean, things have changed so much in the Philippines in the last few years, it's westernizing really, really quickly. And so that means both men and women, they have a little bit better employment opportunities. A lot of folks are working. But that being said, a lot of folks are not working, and so opportunities are limited. But I'm not sure that that's the primary driver of the LDR thing. I mean, you tell me. I'm married. You tell me. Loving kisses from Larice, Crystal. Yeah, that makes much sense. 12-ounce cups of coffee. That sounds good to me. Oh, by the way, I don't have a coffee here sitting in front of me. I have water. Hmm. Fish ponds can serve as being very relaxing and reduce stress. I think that's the next study that we ought to work on there, Sammy. I ate there you go. I eat a small amount of chocolate to combat depression, and chocolate milk does the same. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You hit a home run on that. And I drink decaf after my 2 cups. Well, good for you, because that'll get you, I mean, if you're used to, like I am, just grabbing another cup, grabbing another cup, grabbing another cup, you can obviously, you can do too much. And so you need to regulate the caffeine intake. So Robert says, Dan is the Philippines following countries like Thailand and lifting restrictions soon. Yeah, I think that because I think Thailand's going to put the pressure on the Philippines a little bit, because they are welcoming tourists like crazy right now. Since I was just there, I saw it, and even though it's not like it was, prior to the pandemic, I see a lot of activity in the tourist areas of Thailand. A lot of activity. You see crowds are coming back. They're not coming back where, you got to struggle to make your way through a crowd. But I mean, it happens on a Friday or Saturday night for sure. But I've been in Thailand where it's been packed 24/7. You couldn't get anywhere near the tourist areas because there were just so many people. It's never too late, Larry. Listen, you don't have to apologize for not having a beer in over 3 years. It's okay. You don't have to apologize to me. Joke, just joking around. And Tim says in over 30 years. That kind of sounds like me. But like I said, hey, you could always start now. Listen, whatever floats your boat. I mean, since you can't predict the time of death, but you can front load it. You could load it up so either you die earlier, or you can do the right things to delay your demise. Yeah, but that is directly related to Filipinas and long distance relationships also. So there are a lot of Filipinas that have YouTube channels that are going on there, and that it gets the views. That I would imagine that's why they're talking about it. And they're always talking about being burned by some Filipino boyfriend. Oh, I never want to date another Filipino guy in my existence. I'm going for Western men, right? But the thing is, there's way more Filipino women, in my estimation, that just want a relationship and a family with their own countrymen, or woman for that matter. Same-sex relationships are becoming more widely accepted in the Philippines as they are in Thailand, and so those are going to have impact also on the things that we're talking about. Oh, sure, Sammy. Lie back, and I shall lull you to sleep, or put you in a coma. Let's see. Tim says if I inherit anything, it better be cash. Yeah, people want financial stability, exactly. And usually that takes two people working multiple jobs, right? That's what one thing I can't understand is wanting anybody to take their significant other, their love of their life, to the United States so that they can have an improved level of existence. That I don't get. I never could understand it. I mean, my wife was like, Yahoo, we're getting the hell out of here, right? We're getting the hell out of the United States. I get to go back home, right? I mean, my wife couldn't get here fast enough. She was elated. She was elated because it's just too hard in the United States. Yeah, you could criticize us. You could say, "Oh, you can make it there," blah 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 blah. Well, yeah, I suppose you win if you want to critique us that way, right? I suppose you win. But yeah, no, it wasn't that we couldn't make it. We were, but what it took to do it was incredible. I mean, it's just incredibly hard. So I don't know about that. I don't know about people wanting to run back there in that environment and have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to keep the machine going. You guys that have been there, you guys know what I'm talking about. Keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, the neighbor bought a brand new SUV. I don't even understand it. I don't even understand why you'd be excited about having to give $400 a month in fuel cost, to feed that beast that probably costs you $1,200 a month in car payments and insurance. I just don't get what the fun in that whole thing is. But that's how people live there. Here, I don't have any plans whatsoever of purchasing a vehicle. Why would I do that when I just jump on the Jeep over here for 20 pesos or whatever it is, and 7 minutes later I'm at the Dunkin' Donuts, and that's the only place I need to be other than home with my wife. See what I'm saying? In other words, so some people adapt well to the change and some people don't. I'm adapting very well to the change. So far, so good. But I hear that there's a storm brewing out to sea, and we'll have to see in a few days, maybe next week or so, if it turns out that fun's over, want to go back home. But I don't see me going back home. I see myself going to a different part of the world if I had to, but not back home, right? Because here it's fun. It's between 80 and 90 degrees most of the time. It doesn't cool off that much at night, but it's not Sacramento where once in a while it gets up to 109, 110, and it is a dry heat. Some people, they hate the humidity that they find in the Philippines, and I just happen to love it. Oh, well, thank you, Daisy Lynn. I appreciate that. So I don't know where you guys are on this thing. You know, although I will say I do get a little irritated when someone refers to me as grandpa, but I don't know why I should. uh, hey, because they do tend to make fun of older men and younger women relationships once in a while here in the Philippines, but you're seeing it all the time. And even in the West, you're seeing it. Even in the West, you're seeing older men and younger women. And every once in a while, you see an older woman and a younger guy. That the population is shifting in the West. Oh yeah, it's not the caffeine because you drink Mountain Dew. Well, you're drinking the good stuff. You're drinking the hard stuff. Mountain Dew has a lot of caffeine in there. Let's see what Robert says. They will lift the restrictions because countries like Thailand and around them are lifting restrictions. Yeah, they're going to take them out because they want the tourist dollars. But I find it interesting that the Bank of the Philippines, is it Philippine National Bank, or whoever the equivalent to the Fed is over here in the Philippines, is not. What I find interesting is they're allowing the dollar to float against the peso. In the past, they have restricted the movement of the peso against the dollar. So they would let it get to 50, they would let it get to a rate of something like 45 or 50, and they would say, okay, that's it. They would regulate it. And right now they're allowing it to float. So it's caught my attention. I've wondered if maybe that was an agreement they made with the International Monetary Fund. Maybe the Philippines is going out and borrowing money, and as they borrow the money, they have to cut the deal. It says, oh, part of the deal is you have to let the peso float. And so, because I guess the world has to recover from the pandemic together. Thank you so much, Larice. So, maybe there's some economic disruptions that occur when we don't all share the misery together all at the same time. But you have countries that they legally can print as much money as they want, and I just happen to come from one, and that really can create, can really wreak havoc on the global economy. And China does it also. China does it in different ways, but I think that we're all in the same boat. We're suffering from inflation. It might be here for a while. It might take a while to recover. I've never seen anything like it. I have to completely rethink our budget from that we have to live on from here on out. I think I mentioned it in the live stream. This is serious business. No, it's not so serious that it's going to break me or put me in some kind of a situation where I will have to go back to the United States with the tail between my legs. It's not anywhere near that kind of a situation, but it's more of the fact that I was planning on saving a heck of a lot more money for Minnie's future than we'll be able to do now, because the cost of food and goods and services is going skyrocket. Hi, Marianne Salonga. Thanks so much for coming to the stream. If you guys haven't already gone to Marianne's channel, please do so, and feel free to sign up and subscribe. I'm happiest I've ever been in my life. Yeah, when we find the one that we love, whether they're actually doesn't matter if they're straight or or if they're the same gender as we are, or if they're a lady boy, or if they're trans. It's all good. When we find the love of our life, that's generally the feeling we get, and that's a feeling of happiness deep down into the soul. Oh, there's Mabel Torres. I should mention that September 2nd, she's having her is it her birthday grand live, where sponsors will be given, and she'll be giving away money and prizes. And people like Mabel and others, Larice, man, and Filipina Raquel. Oh my gosh, man, you guys are amazing. I mean, you guys are absolutely friggin' amazing at how you can get your groups together, your teams together, in order to inspire others. And that's what you've done for me. So I truly appreciate it. I mean, you are just incredible. Do you say Mabel? I keep saying Mabel, or is it Ma Bell? Because it does look like Ma now that I look at it. And I think I heard Filipina Raquel refer to you as Ma. So if it's Ma, put M-A, and so I'll pronounce your name right. Because Filipino, the spelling of the names, it confuses me sometimes. I'm trying to figure out what kind of a sound that they're looking for. Sure, I will. I definitely will be down there tomorrow morning at 9:30 sharp, and I will have a cup of coffee for you. And Mabel says hello. Or Mabel says hello. We'll find out how to pronounce her name. So she's going to have a live stream on September 2nd. Don't be late. $56.06 to the dollar. Is that today's rate, Tim? That's pretty good. I think I exchanged some money today, and I was at 55.55 over there at. I can't remember if I went over to M Lawyer or not, but I think so. I'm inviting you all to my upcoming birthday this Friday, September 2nd. Hope you all can come and join. Yeah, so hey, there's the official invite. And so you guys should head over to her channel and participate. She's funny. She's fun. She has a sense of humor. Not, I mean, yeah, she's very much the polar opposite of me. Yeah, so I might shy away if I were in the game, again. I might shy away from online dating sites, but I definitely would not. It would not scare me though to have a long distance relationship with, with a Filipina. Nobody could scare me out of it. Nobody could say weird things to me like, "Oh, she's just after your money," and be careful, blah 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 blah. She's just trying to get you to give her money and stuff like that. Of course. What do you think? Of course she is. They're poorer than you. They are poorer than you in the Philippines, Be generous, give until it hurts. That's where I am. 9 a.m. today. Okay. I think I exchanged it. If I'm not mistaken, I was at 55.55. And so the highest that I've exchanged money since I've been here is, and I think it was at M Lawyer. I think it was here in Bye Bye City Lake, and I was surprised. I think I got 55.75 last week sometime. So I know it went over 56 to the dollar, something like that. So yeah, I would not shy away from having a relationship with a Filipino, long distance online or any other kind, just from, just by listening to all the warnings, that people are giving about having relationships on, that they're putting out on YouTube, basically that gets views, when you start talking about stuff like that. That gets views. And so do when Filipinos start talking about personal relationships and what you should avoid and what you should look for in an LDR, those also get lots of views on YouTube. But I wouldn't make a blanket statement by saying, don't send your money. I might say, don't send lots of money, but I view myself as being a pretty generous guy, In other words, I send money to my YouTube partners all the time. I never think about it. I never think, oh, they're ripping me off. I mean, who thinks like that? Really? It just isn't in my constitution. As a matter of fact, probably I'm putting more money out there than I ever have before in my entire life. You can't take it with you, right? Yeah, you can't take it with you. They're not going to toss it in your grave when it's your time to go. Some people think like that. I've actually met Westerners who actually think that way. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Uh-oh, who's buffering? I'm buffering. They might have some. They might be using some internet hookups here around the house. There are probably 20 devices hooked up to the internet right now in this house. So anyway, now's a good time to call the stream. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. That's pretty good. Thanks for hanging around, listening to my diatribe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to put them in the comment section. I'll do my best to read them and answer them. I try to answer as many of the comments as possible. And so, oh, you didn't get it? You didn't get any buffering? Thanks, Tim, for letting me know. I'm glad it's going a little bit better than it has in the past. And I want to mention something. Larry's given a sign-off message. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. Absolutely. But coming up on one of the videos is going to be there. I want you to go look at the Walking Street videos from Angeles City. You'll see this guy when it doesn't matter whose video you're looking at. Just grab one or grab five and take a look at them. Tim, you'll know this is true. You'll probably know what I'm talking about. So we're going down Walking Street in Angeles City. There's a guy that sits by Kokomo's. There's a young man who sits by Kokomo's, and you're always going to see him down there playing with his phone. But the YouTubers just kind of like, he always shows up in their YouTube videos, but they just kind of walk right past him, right? And so for months, I've been saying that if I ever run across that guy, I'm going to interview him and find out what the heck he's doing there, because it doesn't matter what time of day or night, that you go down Walking Street, you're always going to catch that guy sitting down in front of Kokomo's on the sidewalk or very, very close by. And he's always on his phone. He's always on his cell phone texting or doing something on there. And so I always noticed him. I always observed him in past videos. And so I finally, when Minnie and I went there, we caught up with him. And this guy was fabulous. This guy was so elated that we would take the time to stop and talk to him. He was absolutely thrilled. Like, he couldn't believe it. Because he said, yeah, it's true that every time somebody comes down there with a camera because they want to show the bars or the girls or whatever, they just like pass him by like he doesn't even exist, right? And then so I observe stuff like this, right? So I noticed the guy. I noticed him probably a year ago. I've been watching, and every time I see him, I'd say to myself, I'm going to catch up with that dude one day. I'm going to find out what he's all about. And so I finally did it. So I don't know if that's going to be the next video or if it's going to be a few videos down the road, but I definitely had a chance to talk to him. And so I should have known what he was doing there. Tim probably knows, right? But it's going to be fun to present that video whenever I get around to editing it. In the meantime, I know I'm going to put up a video in the next couple of days, so you guys be on the lookout for that. Oh, poor Connect. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got poor connection or no connection. All right, you guys. So I certainly will give Minnie a hug for y'all, and you guys all have a nice rest of your evening or day or beginning of your day, depending on where you're at and what you're doing. And we'll see you in the next live. Bye-bye. I'm out in 5, 4.